In this video, we will use Power Query to extract day, month, year from date-time column. Then we will group the data based on year and month. And finally, for each of these groups, we will calculate summary statistics like minimum, maximum, average, and sum. And in the last, we will reshape the data using pivot and unpivot. All this we will do using Power Query. I have used the power consumption data from Kaggle to illustrate this concept. You can see there in the screen there are two columns, start date, which is the exact date time of the consumption, and the value in kilowatt hour, which is the power consumption for that time. After our analysis, the output will look like this, where we have the two column month and month name, and the column year is spread as each column, which means there is one column for each year. And the number you see is the average consumption for this particular group or combination. For example, this one is the average consumption in the January month for the year 2016. And similarly, this value is the average consumption for the March month in 2019. We will start with loading data. Loading data is the first step for any analysis. We will load data using Get Data option in the Data tab, where we select from File option and from Text CSV. There are other options also which you can use based on your requirement. But here I am going to load data using the flat file, which is a CSV format. I will locate the file and click on Import. A window will appear which will give option to preview the data along with few other options. We will click on Load Data from the bottom of the screen, and you see the data is loaded. And on the right side you can see queries and connection is there. So in order to go to the Power Query window, we will double click this option, and a new window with Power Query is open. This is the area or workspace where we are going to work on Power Query. I will start with creation of new columns like day, month, and year, which I will extract from the start date column. Let's do that. I will go to the tab Add option, click on Custom Column. Here we have to fill few information. First I will define the name of the column, which is day, and then I have to write a name of the function which will extract day from the date time. So like date dot day is the name of function, and it will take the argument as a date time column, which is the start date in my case, and I click on OK. So you can see a new column day has been created, which has extracted the day from the start date. Now I will create a new column month, and I will give function date dot month. Again I will put the start date as an argument. Close the parenthesis and click on OK. And here the month has been extracted. Another column I will give month name. I want the name of month in English, so we'll give name as month name, and the name of the function is date dot month name. And again I'm going to put the column as an argument, start date, and click on OK. And now I am going to create a column year, which is our primary column for analysis, and the function will be date dot year, and the argument will be same, start date, and I'll click on OK. Now we have extracted all the information. The next step is creating a group and calculate the summary statistics for each group. For that, I have to go to Transform menu and click on Group By. This will open a pop-up which will ask few information from me. The default basic is selected. I will use advanced option. I want to group by year, and then I will add a grouping month and another group month name. Then I will be creating a couple of columns. Like the first column is minimum value, which will be the minimum consumption for this group. Then I will create a new column max, which is the maximum value or maximum consumption for this group. Then I will give average, which will be the average value or average consumption for that group. And the last I will give sum, or basically I will give total and put here as sum, which is the total consumption for this group. So I am going to calculate the minimum, maximum, average and total consumption for each year and month. I click on OK, and you can see here we have year, and for each year there are 12 instances of month, and for each group like year and month we have a minimum, maximum, average and total consumption. I will round these columns to up to 2 decimal place to make it neat. Here year is appearing as a column. Now what I want to spread the year into multiple columns. Like there should be one column for each year. So let's do that. Before that, I would do the pivot and unpivot using only average value. So let me remove this minimum and maximum column. I just kept it to illustrate the example, but I will hide this. So I will remove columns, and then I will remove totals also. So you can see to remove columns, like a new step has been added. At any point of time, if you want to go to any step and see if you had did something wrong, so you can click on that step and you can see what has happened. For example, group row. So you can click here and see what has happened here. And if you want to edit, you can do that. So this is the flexibility Power Query give you. I will go to the last step, remove columns, and now we'll work on unpivot and pivot. So what I wanted here is that the column year should spread into multiple columns, and one column will be for each year. So we have 5 years, so there will be 5 new columns. So let's do that. So first I will select on column year, go to transform tab, pivot column, and it is asking, so we have already selected a column year which has to be spread. Now it's asking for the value column. In my case it is average. And now when I click on OK, you see it has been transformed. The year which was appearing as a column has spread into 5 columns with each year as 1 columns. Now again, if we want to do the same thing, like revert to the old way, for example, if you want to go from wide to long format, so you have to select all columns whose value you want to unpivot. So I have selected all the year columns, click on unpivot columns, and I will select unpivot only selected columns, and you see the same thing has happened. So we have month name, and it has given the name of attribute and value. You can change the name anyways. You can rename the column, but we won't want this step. I just showed for illustration, so I will cross this and go back to the pivot column. So now our data is final and ready. We'll go to home and click on close and load. So what it will do, it will put the clean data back to Excel, like the format which I showed in the beginning, the final output. In this video, I try to explain how to use a function in Power Query, how we can group data, how you can calculate summary statistics, and how we can reshape the data using pivot and unpivot. If you have any query, you can write in comments. I will try to answer.